Yes, good morning, my family or my fellow friends. And I just have something small to say here. I've seen many people they have made videos about this, so I thought I should also make something, and I put my input, how I do my stuff, or how I do my thing. As you've seen from the title, payday routine. This can be either your salary or your wages, or what you call or your profits. So when I talk about the salary or the wages, here I'm talking about the net, your net wage or your net salary that you've got monthly. It's better to make it monthly, because some people, if you're paid maybe at the end of the month. Most people are paid at the end of the month, others maybe the first week or the second week or in the middle of the month. And it doesn't matter. What matters is that you organize it maybe in the monthly, say maybe January, February. Like now we're in July. You can say for July, this is how I'm going to utilize. I'm going to use my money. So I was compiling my salary or my wage, which I had. It was around I think it was March or April. I sat down to compile all the money which I've got for the last 5 years. I wanted to see what I've done, and I was trying to see if I really followed my financial plan or financial idea, which I always, my philosophy. Okay, that is it. My financial philosophy. I wanted to see if I really followed it. So I was entering it in Excel, then making it 10%. It carried this 20 to see if I'd really gone through and I've achieved what I wanted to achieve in the 5 years. In the past 5 years. And then also there was my friend who was working, so I wanted to ask her how she has been using her money. One of my friends, she has worked, I think, for a year now. But before I asked her about that, I say it's better maybe let me make this video so that I don't have, also others may benefit from it. So what do I do normally when I get my salary or when I get my wage? Let me give you what I normally do. Like mine, I always make sure 10% goes for what? I think most of you have heard about this. 10% goes for salary. There is a book written, who wrote it? I don't know the author, but it's called The Richest Man in Babylon. Though he got all this, most of these things are in the good book. They call it Torah, or in the Old Testament. Most of these biblical principles for making wealth, they are there in the Bible. So normally what I do, I make 10%, around 10%, But it's always, I think it's always much even more. 10% goes for charity, and then the 10% goes for tithe. I take it to church to help people there. But what I normally do is, most of our pastors, they are fake pastors. You give them money and then they go and buy a jet. And they go and buy designer shoes. So most times, but me, I don't follow such kind of fake prophets. I'm a Catholic, so normally in the Catholic Church, it is very rare to find a priest misusing the offertory to go and buy a new jet or even start sponsoring women. Yeah. It is rare in the Catholic Church, such kind of thing. It is main in the Protestant, whereby you give your offertory, the pastor is using it for his own thing, building a house, going to Dubai, then he's just saying that God has blessed me. Instead of helping the poor, they are collecting from the poor. Then a 10% is supposed to go to church. Normally I use it for charity. Even God blesses you more. But one of these days I am planning, because my church where I'm praying now, they are even richer. So I see that there is no need. But then in that 10%, normally, I put it forward. It goes for charity also. Though in rare occasions, then because I'm planning, there's somebody, one of my spiritual mentors, who does these things online. So one of these days, the 10% will go there. And then 10%, no, me, I don't do 10%. I normally put, it ranges, it depends on what I'm doing this month or this year or this quarter. But the minimum is always 10 to about 50% of my wages or my salary. It goes to investments. And then the other 10 is supposed to go to savings, but I've not been saving. I'm still broke and poor. So normally, that's why you see I have normally 10 to 50%, depending on what I'm doing. If I'm maybe buying a new plot or I'm investing, but currently I've been investing in land and then in my studies. So normally the savings and the investments, I make it together. That's why I say 10 to 50. But what I recommend is this for you who is watching me, or this is what I'm going to do also, to be a bit strict and follow this. The 10, when you get your wages or when you get your salary or when you get your profits. When I talk about the wage and salary, it is the net, not that one which is already the one which you get after deducting the taxes. So what I recommend is that 10% should go to tithe or go to church, where you're praying for your spiritual needs. The pastor or the church community, let them use it for running the activities. This is the recommended. 10% should go for what? To God's work in church or to God's ministers. 10 is tithe, 10%, and then the 10 should be charity. Minimum 10% should go for charity, and then 10% you should save. If your emergency fund is full, then you can save it where you can get interest, or you save it and then you wait and invest it later. And then the 10 should go for investment, strictly for investment purposes. Another 10%, that 10%, this is for. And then fifth is 10% should go again for what? To invest in yourself or debt repayment. So this is what I recommend. 10, 10, 10, 5 times. This is almost, this is 50%. But at least it has to be like at least 40% or 30% should go to these things. Investment 10 to tithe, and then another 10 to charity, and then 10 to savings, another 10 to what? Investment, 40. Yes, 40% at least of your earnings will go for these things which I've just said now. Not before. And this video is just going to be a short one. Maybe I'll make another a detailed one. This is just a simplified one because for some accountants they say you need to first start with closing the account, closing your accounts last month, how you have done. So it takes a lot of time. I'm just giving you something which is very simple, simplified. But as you do this, you need to note this. Number one is that there are things which take a lot of money. If you have realized, or some of you must have already realized, rent takes a lot. Those who have already bought your house or you have a house, congratulations. But majority of people, they are having this issue of rent. Rent takes a lot of money. So for you to achieve some of these things, like I was watching recently one of the ladies when I was trying to see what people have talked about this, they had a lot of big Excel. So when I saw Excel, I said, this one must have done something good. Let me first see what he has done. After watching, I saw investment 1%. I laughed. I said, this one, how do you put investment 1%? This is somebody who is not serious with her life. Most women are like this. Most people are like this. They have nothing for investment. So if they are hit with a problem, they even have nowhere to go. No savings, no emergency fund, nothing. Investment is very important for your old age. All of us are going to be old, whether you like it or not. Even if you're living in the West, you need to have at least some money. Otherwise, you'll have miserable life when you are now in your 60s or 70s. So your rent should not cross 30%. Maybe I'll need to make another video later, another detailed video on how to save a lot of money or how to budget. It's mean about budgeting. I need to make maybe another video. But rent takes a lot of money, so you make sure you don't cross 30% of whatever you're earning. You can go and rent in a place where you pay very low rent. Maybe you can say, let me persevere here for like where I am. Even you can see I don't have a studio. I know that I'm persevering here maybe for only this year or for 2 years or for 3 years. After that, I go and stay in my own house. I go and build, or I go and rent in a better place. So some of these things you just have to persevere maybe for the beginning, for the time being. After that, then so your rent, if you want to save, make sure the rent will not cross 30%. Or if your income is very low, then you can make it it shouldn't cross 40%. Though it's not recommended. I don't recommend that. It's better to look for ways of raising money other than if you have little money. Then you have to live below what? Below your means or below your income. Some people, they live above their income. Like me now, my rent, I think it doesn't even reach 10%. Because my target is I'm not going to stay here for long. I have to change. Maybe next year I have to change. Or if I'm to have this place, I'll have another better place where I can have maybe a studio and what. So my rent, as I'm talking to you now, it hardly. I don't think I need to calculate it. Because the last time I calculated, then they have increased my rent. That's why. But I don't think it has crossed even 10%. It's less than 10% of what I earn. And then what you have to note, the third point, which you need to take into note, is that you need to divide some of these things. You don't need to have one account where you're putting your savings there, your investment there, your salary is coming there. You need to have at least 2 bank accounts or 3. But two can work. Two are okay. So have at least 2 bank accounts to put some of these things there. So after crossing, like after removing the 10 for tithe, charity, and savings, then you'll be left, the ones which are left, that's when you can now use it for your needs or utilities and paying the bills. There are some mandatory bills, and then others you can use it for buying your wants. But even still, you need to see how you can squeeze something. You can squeeze something out of the balance. If you are serious, if you want to reach financial freedom quickly, you need to follow this rule here of 10%. Put 10% savings, 10% investment minimum. That's what I'm saying. When I say 10%, that means a minimum of 10% for savings. But if you want to move very fast, you put investment, at least will go 20%. At least 20% goes to investment, then at least maybe 10% goes for savings. That savings, you're saving it to invest. You don't just save it for the sake of saving, or you put it in an account where you can get you can get some money out of it, whether it is through interest and all that. And today is just a short video. I don't want it to be long. That is just all what I wanted to tell you. You do that, you reach financial independence quickly, and then financial freedom, you'll be on the way. You reach it very fast. And have a nice time, and God bless.
I shall celebrate. Julio, Kalina celebrate. William, what is a wimble? Basida Babra, Basida Babra, Basida Babra, Nandi, but a young man,